4, 3, 2, 1. We are live. Good afternoon, gentlemen. We've got an extra.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Freddie, and also good afternoon, Peter, Peter Donnelly is with us for the first time today. So go easy on him, folks. We got a few in, so obviously we're going to be talking today about last night's match. I'm just going to go to my questions. I've got a few questions here. So let's go to my questions, and we'll start on my first question, which is, as always, what are your initial thoughts on the game last night? So we'll start with Freddie. Tell us your initial thoughts on it.
Where do we start? Obviously, when I saw the starting 11, obviously there was a question mark there. Again, wasn't there? With Turton on the right hand side, but yeah, again, I thought he had a good game last night. What was surprising and it was great to see was that Holmes actually came onto the bench. I know he's been very prolific for the academy team so far this season. So a bit of an award to him was to come on the bench. Regards to the game itself, I thought that we started very, very slow. First half, Kai was just appalling, absolutely appalling. We started very slow. Coming on to like the second half of the game, just a quick out brief. When Sims came off and Embleton came on, I thought we started to look a lot better. Obviously, we were able to have Embleton in midfield, and then we actually started controlling the game a lot better against Burton.
We did. Totally agree with you. Thank you. Do you agree with much of that, Peter, what Freddie's just said, or have you got other thoughts on just your initial thoughts on the actual game last night? Just like basic.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Freddie said. First half, very slow. Always seem to let their players get onto us too much. Second best to everything.
Yep.
Thinking it was disappointing to go in at 1-0 down, but then second half, Critchley took the initiative, changed up the formation to adding an attacking midfield in Embleton, and that changed the game.
Yeah, it did. So I'm
definitely
kind of very much in agreement with both of you. Before the game started, we'd gone through the team sheets. And of course, we had the shock news that CJ Hamilton was injured, which I don't know if anybody's heard any more on that. We'll talk about that later. That was a disappointment for me straight off. Seeing that Gabriel wasn't in again was before the game started I thought, God, why again? Ollie Turton, we were talking about, he was playing well and everything, but we need to rotate these players, and it was as good to let him go and bring Gabriel back in as it was to take Gabriel out and bring him in. We discussed that, and I was disappointed with that. I agree with you. We started off slowly. We were second best to everything. Didn't think, we've been all going on a lot about Kenny Dougal and Matty Virtue being the way forward, and yet Kenny Dougal had a bit of a stinker first half. If I'm being honest, I didn't think he played all that well. I agree with you that Kai was getting lots of abuse in my comments. People were saying, get him off at half time and all that. But and people were saying that Critchley really needs to show now that he's a good manager and see if he can change things around at half time. Well, he did, and we'll talk about that later. I've still got people saying Critchley out and he needs to go and all this sort of stuff, which I personally don't agree with, and I'll touch on that as well at the end and why I don't. But second half it was totally in football, in generic terms, a game of two halves. We were poor first half. I disagree with you, Peter, on the fact that we were unlucky to go in at 1-0. I think we were lucky to go in at 1-0. I think we could have been 2-0 down, if I'm being honest. There was a few chances where, and that lad that was throwing balls in all the time, it was hell that first half. And I actually could see them scoring again. Until the last 10 minutes of the first half, where we started to get a bit of a foothold in the game. And for the last 10 minutes of that first half, we actually started to look a bit like a football team. But for that first 35 minutes, we were so disjointed. We just didn't seem to, we couldn't get hold of the ball as usual. All the passing was going awry, wasn't it? Long balls, we're not finding anybody, short balls, we were giving balls away in midfield. It was it was a disaster. So that's my initial thoughts. Let's just go to the comments, see if we've got anybody.
I mean, I just want to add to that, Lee, is it was never going to be an easy game. And to be completely honest with you, I don't understand why there's so much negativity about not getting a 3 points yesterday. Burton were on fire. They were on a run of 6 straight wins away, 9 wins in 11 games. And you could see straight from the off that Burton were full of confidence. They were coming at us, they wanted the ball. And it was not an easy game. And I feel overall, a point was obviously based on the first half, we were awful. Second half, we were a lot better, and I enjoyed the football we were playing. And I feel that we deserved the point.
You've actually just kind of like, said it before I was going to ask it. Let's see if I can make that a little bit smaller. Yeah, then we'll keep your. So, Paul, was it a good point against an informed Burton team in the end, or 2 points drop, which is more or less what you've said? They were. Yeah. I agree with you. They were a team who just won the last 6. I was fearing this because I knew people would be looking at this and seeing Burton down near the bottom and thinking, this should be an easy win, but this was never going to be an easy win. And I think Burton are going to trouble. I don't know who yet they've got to play above us, but they're going to be a hard team against anybody above us. It's not going to be. And picking up a point against them was probably a decent result in the end, because we could have lost it, couldn't we? We could have lost it, but Critch did change it. Do you agree, Peter, on that? More, you have the same opinion?
Well, the thing I was going to say is that during the initial time we were going to play Burton, was it the end of January, start of February time, it would have been an easier game. A much easier game. They weren't in form then. I think I'm right in saying that one of their centre-halves, Michael Mancien, wasn't going to be eligible for the first game either. Whereas he was one of their integral defenders last night.
Yep. They had us sewn up in the first half, didn't they? Really. I'm just going to go to the comments quickly, because we've got Ben from Cos Vlogs is here. Good afternoon, Ben. He's saying six games ago we were 6 points above them with 4 games in hand. Now it's level on points with 4 in hand. Yes, it is, and Fleetwood have turned their form around, and we've hit a sticky patch. And one of the things I closed.
Yeah, Fleetwood are playing brilliant.
They are playing a lot better. I don't know what's happened to Grayson, but he's proving that maybe he is a decent manager. But I did point out that, and I mentioned this about you, Ben, as well in the stream, that last year Fleetwood were going through, when Blackpool were going through a bad patch of losing games, Fleetwood were going through a bad patch of drawing games, and Ben was moaning that they couldn't turn the draws into wins. But even though they weren't winning, they kept on drawing, they kept the run going, and in the end it turned round, and towards the end of the season they started winning games and winning games and winning games, and they got themselves in the playoffs. And I think that's the one thing with Blackpool at the moment. We are just going through a slight sticky patch, but we're not losing, and we won't stay. I don't think we'll stay in this. Well, we may stay in this sticky patch, and that might be it, and we'll just end up mid-table. But if we just start, sometimes it just needs a lucky goal. Sometimes, whatever, it just needs a bit of luck, and the luck can change, and you can come back into form. And if we do come back into form, we haven't lost touch last night on where we were. Really, we can still get into the playoffs with our games in hand. We still have that ability. We haven't lost that ability, because Ipswich lost last night. So even though we're not winning, and even though Ben's got level with us, unfortunately, you're still 4 games behind us, and we will finish above you. I'm pretty confident on that.
Yeah, 100%. It's just our Achilles heel this season, guys. Just that final third. We say it, podcast after podcast. It's always that final third. And yesterday again, the goal mile scramble in the second half, and again, the game before that was a goal mile scramble. It's just we're just for some reason not getting that second goal. We're not able to put the ball in the back, 2-3 times in a game.
And we do have chances, which I'll talk about that later as well. Brian Murray, hiya Brian, he says, I think a lot of sides have done their homework on us. They know we're a bit vulnerable if they attack us in the first 20 minutes and stop us from settling down. To be fair to Critchley, I think he's doing well considering this is his first managerial job. And I agree, teams are coming at us in the first 20 minutes. But unfortunately for these teams, we are, we are a good side. And I thought we showed it last night, how good a side we were, because I thought Burton were a very informed team. They looked really good. But once we got on top of them, they were second best in that second half, no matter how good they were. Blackpool were really on top in that second half. The only thing that Burton had was that lad with the long throws. He was a menace. He really was. And I will touch on that.
Definitely. They're more like a cross, weren't they, rather than a throw-in?
Oh, they were horrendous. They were, you could normally, if you think about it, the ball's going out and it's going towards the corner flag, and it's either going for a corner or it's going for a throw-in, isn't it? Sometimes it's that close. You think, is that going to go out for a corner? Is it going to go out for a throw-in? And it goes out for a throw-in, but with that lad, it might as well have gone out for a corner, because he just throws it in as good as a corner. So it didn't matter whether it went for a corner or whether it went for a throw-in. And it didn't really matter where we kicked it out in our half, whether it was midway in our half, almost on the halfway line, quarter of the way in, level with the penalty area. He was throwing the ball right into the mix from anywhere. In fact, he actually started throwing them too far at one stage. He started throwing them for goal kicks. They were going too long, weren't they? And he was throwing them from like the halfway line out of touch. But somebody did say, and I didn't pick up on it in the game, and I wish I had done, but somebody said that he was encroaching on the pitch all the time. The referee didn't see it. And also, they were gaining yards all over the place with those throw-ins as well. I don't know if you noticed that as well, because I was screaming at the way there was one where it went right out on the corner flag in the second half, and they took it about 15 yards up the pitch, nowhere near the corner flag, and I'm screaming, get back in that, get back. The goalkeeper took a free kick. When Jerry Yates got called offside, and he was literally on the 6-yard box. The goalie took the goal kick or the free kick from the edge of the box. So for some unknown reason, the referees and linesmen were just not picking up on them encroaching 10. They were getting like a throw in 10 yards in their half, and they were taking it 2 yards in ours. And I was getting pretty annoyed with it. But that was the danger. That was the danger. And that's why go on.
I was going to say, I was watching a game with my uncle, and he noticed that. And there's also another tactic that they use as well, and that was to stop us from taking our free kicks quickly. Right. I think they bundled over Maxwell, and there's just little tactics like that. My uncle actually called it the Jose Mourinho tactics, because that's the type of stuff that he does.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that really, to be honest. But if they were, teams do have this little bit of game management, don't they? But that was the problem last night. He was dealing with this lad that was throwing in. And I think Chizzy said he had about 20 or 21 throw-ins in the whole match, which is like, and they were like corners. So if you just add their corners and another 20 corners, we defended magnificently last night. I mean, absolutely. I mean, those balls were coming in the box, and they were really dangerous, and they were right in, weren't they? Right in the 6-yard area. And Blackpool were magnificent in defence last night. I thought that's one thing I really took out the game, that we really were fantastic. Would you agree with that, Peter? What do you think on that? Were you agreeing that was a problem?
Defensively last night we were solid. Played as per you.
Yeah.
Usually. Just that there was that moment of madness in the first half where we did concede. But the other point is, I don't get why Turton kept putting the ball out for throw-ins when Hamer was such a deadly throw-in.
Yes, it was. It was something you just didn't want to do, and I agree with you. I was screaming at this, stop putting the ball out for a throw-in, because it's normally, you say to defenders, just kick it into row Z, wouldn't you? Just keep getting rid of it, put it out, get it out. But unfortunately, the minute you put it out of play, it was right back in you. And the fact that they had so many throw-ins just proved that, to be honest, like, as you say, we didn't learn the lesson, did we? Far better just lumping it upfield rather than lumping it out for a throw-in, if you can, because it was a danger, and it did make it hard for us to win the game. And it was, even though we were very, very dominant in that second half. Let's just go back to the comments quickly. Reese Lincoln is here, Sunderland fan. He's giving me loads of stick at the moment. He's looking forward to playing Blackpool. He's always tweeting me. Mark Porter says, I think it was, he says, Mark Porter says, I think it was a game of 2 hours performance-wise and a good point gained against a good side rather than the last 3 draws we had against mediocre opposition previously. Yes. well, we can answer this, and I think you'll probably agree with me that the last 3 games that we've played against, maybe not so much Crew, because I thought Crew played really well. I thought AFC Wimbledon was to not win that game was a they were beatable, AFC Wimbledon, and we had chances to beat them, and we got ourselves in front, and we let in a stupid, really last-minute goal, which we should have never done. No disrespect to Ben and Fleetwood. I thought Fleetwood were crap. I'm going to say that. Absolutely. I thought they were crap. I'm sorry, Ben, but you said on your thing that you didn't think Blackpool were much. Well, if you didn't think Blackpool were much, when you kicked off the line twice, goalie pulls off 2 wonder saves, we hit the post, we were all over you. You were defending for like 85% of the game, and you say that Blackpool rubbish. Well, I tell you, Fleetwood were shit. Absolutely, they were crap, and we should have beat Fleetwood. We should have beat them. They were beatable.
Yeah.
They got blocks on. There was one. I think you'll remember where there was about 5 blocks in one series of play where we had shot after shot. They got blocks in. They did everything to get a point, but I didn't think they looked a good side. And apart from that one chance where Kyle Vassell ballooned it over the bar, that was the only thing they did in the whole game. They should have gone down to 10 men in the first half. It was a terrible foul. It was on a second booking. Should have gone off, and I just think that those are 4 points that we've dropped. I don't think the Crew, the Crew. I'll take the point, and I probably will take the point last night because I would have took the point before the game. So I think we've dropped 4 points, not like 4. I don't know what you think. Or do you think we should have won all 4 of these games?
I think we've had opportunities to win them. Not been able to put the ball away. I felt, the 3 draws prior to last night's game, feeling very frustrated. But I strongly believe that Burton could have been a bit of a banana skin. The playing and the form. After last night's game, I was relatively quite happy, in all honesty.
Yeah, I can't say I was happy. I was okay with it. I was okay with it because I was frustrated in the end because I thought we deserved to win. I didn't think Jerry Yates was offside. I thought it was really tight because I'm talking about the second half now, where that ball came through. I think it was from Ollie Turton, wasn't it? And it hit a defender on the way through to Yates. It had it kind of hit somebody and like bounced off them into Yates's pass. But when Ollie Turton made that pass, I thought Jerry Yates was way onside. He didn't put it away, so it didn't really matter because the goalie pulled off a bloody wonder save from it, and it kind of just went wide, didn't it? But I didn't think he was offside on that. Whether he'd have scored whether he saw the offside flag up, I don't know. But it was I thought that was a turning point. But there was a time during that second half where Blackpool were really, really on top, especially after we'd scored the goal. We had a period, didn't we, where I would say probably 10, 15 minutes where we were all over them. They couldn't get out of their half, and we just, for some unknown reason, it just wouldn't go our way, would it? We come up again against a defence that managed to just keep it out. And so I was a little bit disappointed we didn't get all the 3 points. And because we've got another tough game coming up, haven't we?
Yeah, Oxford on Saturday.
We never do well there, do we? Bloody Oxford.
No.
I
thought our passing second half. I thought our passing yesterday, like the second half, was fantastic. And as for all the form that Burton are in, and they're not able to pass the ball in the same way that we was. And I feel with the fantastic passing we're doing, that's how we actually managed to get on top of them in the second half.
Yeah, I agree. Do you agree, Peter, that the passing in the second half compared to the first half, I was not happy with Dougal, but I thought second half, the team were doing some lovely little triangles, weren't they? Ollie Turton was involved in it coming down. It was, we were taking the ball off them where we weren't in the first half. And I would imagine that Embleton would we agree that Embleton was the difference? And Ellis Sims isn't what we need at the moment without Madine, even though we think he should be.
Definitely made the difference.
Yeah.
It was definitely the introduction of Embleton going 4-2-3-1 that made the difference yesterday. And I think we ended up with, 61% possession?
Yeah.
By the end of the game.
So would you, and I'm thinking this myself personally, I don't think we should start with Sims. I don't think he's good enough at this at the moment. I think he'd be great to bring on for the last 25 minutes. I think it'd be great if Madine was on. I think we're missing Madine. I think we're really missing Madine. I think he brings a lot to the team. I know people slag him off sometimes and say he's a bit slow, but the fact he can hold that ball up, the fact the defense can't get it off him, the fact that they concentrate on Madine quite a lot and it frees up space for people. And I think Sims would play better alongside, in a team with Madine in it rather than trying to be Madine.
I agree with that. I just feel, the way that Sims started against Bolton, not Bolton, Wigan, and took his 2 goals well. And I thought, we've got a cracking player here on loan, and I was really looking forward to him playing. But unfortunately, for one reason or another, he just doesn't seem to have fulfilled that potential. To be fair, when as you guys say, when Embleton came on yesterday, we're able to put another player in midfield, and we're really starting out on top of Burton. But one player that we haven't touched on yet, and I thought had a fantastic game, was Mitchell down the right-hand side. I thought he was absolutely fantastic yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Peter?
Oh, definitely. The thing with Mitchell is he's a bit like what Neil Erdley was to the Premier League side, where he's not very good defensively, but is much better attacking and putting the cross in. And so I wouldn't put Mitchell in at left back. I'd put him as more of a winger. Yeah,
now this is the thing. He is a left back, but we're playing him as a right winger. But he, to be fair to him, he I agree with you. I think that's the best game I've seen Mitchell play. Well, second half in particular is the best. It is the best I've seen him play, and he was a real danger and a real handful, wasn't he? And I know there was a few Burton fans in the stream last night, and they were saying at the end of the game that they felt lucky that they'd come away with a point. So that's how they felt about the game. And I think Mitchell was. I think that was his best performance. And I agree with you, Peter. I don't think he is a good defender. I think he's too small, like you say, to be a defender. I think he's targeted with his height. I think they see him as a little lad. We can knock this lad off, but he just was a real danger and I tell you what I liked about him as well. He got fouled. He got a really quite bad foul, and he was just up. No lying around, no bringing the bloody trainers on like these teams do against us. No rolling around in agony, looking like his legs dropped off. No, he just got up. He just got up and walked on with it, didn't he? And I thought that was that's what I like to see. I hate this part of football where they're always in double agony and rolling over and all the rest of it, and it's just all wasting time and the rest of it. So
the thing is, he's just come back from a serious injury as well, hasn't he? At the start of the season.
Yeah,
he had.
Well, I believe from what I've read, he actually started as a winger for Man United.
Oh, did he?
Man United actually brought him to a left back. I believe so. Yeah. And
well, then he is a winger then, and he looks a winger. He looks like a winger to me. He plays like a winger.
Yeah, he does.
And he's exciting.
I'd rather play him on the wing.
I can't even make my mind up yet whether he is actually more exciting than CJ Hamilton. Just, they're two totally different players, aren't they? I mean, Hamilton has just got pace to burn. I mean, he really has got electrifying pace. And I've said it quite a few times. He has electrifying pace. He doesn't actually look like he runs fast. He's got that, he's not going like hell for leather, is he? He just kind of glides across the pitch. He really is. His running stance is quite amazing. But, a lot of people say he just doesn't do something with that final ball. Whereas I think Mitchell's just he is that sort of like fast, quick, he's jigging in, jigging out, jigging in, isn't he? Hamilton has like he glides across, but Mitchell's doing all that stuff that when Sebi was, as a young kid, was in these academies. He was in United Academy, and there was a couple of little ones, and they were only 8 years old, but they were doing step overs and jigging about, and Seb just had a nice running pace around him, but he never did all that quick feet. And I think that Mitchell has got quick feet. I think he is quite exciting when he's on a run. He's growing on me.
He's got a lot of pace as well. He has got pace. And I was going to say before, but I stopped myself. I know it's split opinions, but I actually believe that Mitchell has offered more than what CJ has on CJ's return from injury. I thought last night Mitchell was fantastic going forward, getting the ball. He was confident. He was running at people, and that's what some of the play that I'd love to see CJ do.
Yeah,
I agree, Freddie.
Yeah. Now, if we'd have had Madine in as well, would that, that free up Mitchell a little bit more, because it does take, unfortunately, the thing about Madine is he gets a lot of attention from the centre halves, doesn't he? You got to watch him because he is a £6 million player at the end of the day. He's really, in his career, he's been a lot higher than where he's playing now. And he's a good player, and defenders cannot just leave him alone because you've got to watch him all the time, and he's dangerous. And all these long balls that we keep punting up that just get headed back half the time. When Madine's up there, it doesn't. He gets up with the defenders and he causes trouble, which I think frees people up around him to have space. I think all the attackers play better when he's on because he lays it off as well, doesn't he? Nice, and he does all that sort. He does all that sort of thing that just frees up. So I think we'd see an even better Mitchell if Madine was in. But are we ever going to see Madine?
Yeah, I agree.
It just goes on and on, doesn't it? Brandon,
I think with Madine, I think with Madine, he can't score as many as he did when he was playing for Sheff Wednesday in Division 1. But he does have the attributes, like you say, holding up the ball, and he's absolutely fantastic at that. And he's also really good at bringing players in, like Mitchell, like Hamilton. And, that's when, from my perspective, that's when you do start seeing the better qualities of the other players that Madine helps to bring out of them.
Yeah, and they've just got that little bit more space, a little bit more time because they've not got 2 or 3 defenders around them all the time because defenders are concentrating on Madine. So you probably noticed there was a few times last night that we had the ball down the right wing or whatever, and we were very quickly closed down. There was 2 or 3 players on us. There was in the first half there was. In the second half they didn't have as much joy because I think I agree with you, Peter, that Embleton made a big difference, and he was the one that extra body in that midfield or whatever that worked, didn't it? Is that a good sign? Do you think that's a good sign that Critchley is a good coach? Because I don't know what you guys think about Critchley, but I like him and I think he's learning, and I think he's kind of been thrown a bit in the deep end. He's come from youth football, under 23s football, straight into a tough league. And at first I think, he was I wouldn't say clueless, but he didn't have his tactics right. And I've often accused him of being a bit late, making his substitutions when it's all too late. He brings them on a bit too late, almost too scared to make a change. Whether the fact we went 1-0 down forced his hand to make a change. But, I did mention earlier that people in my stream were saying, as we're coming to half time, that Critch has got to prove his mettle here, and he's got to sort this out because this is shambolic. And if he's a good manager, we'll see it in the second half. And I think he proved it last night. I think he proved it. I don't know what.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Critchley, when he first came in, I'll hold my hands up. I was like, who is this guy? What is he doing? We're going to get relegated playing this way. But as the season's gone on, he's learning, he's learning how to be a manager in Division 1. And what was great to see last night is that he addressed that we had a problem. At half-time, he didn't mess about. He changed the formation around. He, gave a solution to a problem, which, which good managers do. And we came on into the second half when we played so much better than what we did in the first half. So yeah, I do believe that he's a good manager. He's still learning his trade, but he's got so much potential to be an outstanding manager eventually.
I think so. Peter, do you agree with that?
And also last night it proved that we can play well with one striker up top.
Yeah,
it does.
Because second half was 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
But the problem then is Yates gets isolated. And it was up to the left back to score.
Yeah, Garbett.
True, but he did, but what a great goal. Let's talk about that goal while you mention it. I mean, it was a cracker, wasn't it? I mean, it was just, into the far corner, he hit it like a rocket, basically, didn't it? The goalie had no chance with it. It was a great goal, and that was, like you say, from a defender, not from a striker. I thought that was a wonderful goal. Do you know what you thought about that? Great goal. And it was a kind of a team worked goal, wasn't it, as well? It wasn't, it was all worked. What was it like on the...
Yeah, I was going to...
can't remember the goal, if it was on the second phase of play where it came back out to us, did it? We had a chance, and did it come back out? Can you guys remember? I'm just trying to remember what happened. All I remember is seeing it going in.
From my memory, Lee, Burton actually had the ball, and I think it was actually Garbett who made a fantastic tackle to gain possession again.
Oh yes,
and
he
then
did.
From getting the ball,
block.
a fantastic strike into the far right of the net and beyond the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was superb. Do you think, Peter, great goal?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Looking at it from the behind the goal camera on the Twitter feed is even better.
Oh, I've not seen it. I'll have to check that out. I may try and find it and put a link in the video if I can at this moment for people to go and have a look at that, because I've not seen it from behind the goal. There's been a couple of them, haven't there, behind the goals? There was the Jerry Yates one at MK Dons as well, where they showed it from behind the goal. It looked great from behind the goal. It really did look good. It looked amazing. When he went around the keeper and everything, it looked superb. So I'm talking about Critch now. Now he did, and this is maybe you may agree with me, you may not, but he did a wonderful change at half time and he changed the game. But should he have made some more substitutions to try and win the game? Because you've touched on it already, Freddie. We got this young kid on the bench that's scoring goals for fun. Did it need a bit of a, did he need to bring another couple of substitutions on at the end or not? Because he doesn't, does he? He's cautious on his substitutions. And is that the sign yet that he hasn't got the confidence to totally go for it at the end? Because I thought we could have maybe just done with something, even if he'd have just brought Gabriel on, maybe, I don't know, with him, because we were so much on the attack. Gabriel would have put us even more on the attack. Or was he right to if you'd have brought Gabriel on, who would you took off? Who would you took off for that young kid?
Yeah, definitely a question. I also Ward as well was unlucky not to come on. But Mitchell was doing well down the right hand side. So it's just a case of where do you put him? Virtue, Deagle were playing well in the middle. So even though I would like to have seen more than one substitute, it's a case of who would you bring on and where would you put?
So are we agreed? Are we in agreement, Peter, there that we should have just stuck as we were and that's it, or would?
Yeah, I can't think of any substitutions that Critchley could have made last night
that would have made it any better.
Would have improved.
Well, we've already touched on
maybe Gabriel.
We've already touched on the fact that Turton kept putting the ball out for throw-ins. So would Gabriel have put the ball out for throw-ins? That might have changed something for us, and because we did still give a lot of throw-ins away in that second half. So maybe that, like you say,
we have spot before Lee that Turton is more defensively minded, where Gabriel does like to get forward. So perhaps if Gabriel was playing, then he might have not put the ball out. He'd probably look for the run up the field.
Yeah, should we maybe have started with Gabriel? Is the fact that we're starting off slow because the defense are very defensive and we're not really attacking, but when we have Gabriel on, we start off a bit quicker because we're more attack minded, and we should start with Gabriel and maybe take him off and bring Turton on at the end to make sure we shore up I don't know. Are we playing it the wrong way around? Because we have let a few late goals in, haven't we? So, but we didn't last night. So, honestly, I don't.
Yeah, I think with Gabriel and Turton, it's just a case of horses for courses. I know that Critchley's come out and said that the reason that Gabriel got dropped initially is because he took that knock. But I'd just like to see them rotate more. I just think that it'd help them, it'd keep them fresh. And, would also be a threat going forwards in some games as well if Gabriel was playing.
Yep. Sam Friedman says, Freddie, is that the Etihad in the background, Fred? It's nice to think of Bloomfield Road as the Etihad.
Nice.
No, it's
Bloomfield
Road. Of course it is. If you move, his head's covering the temporary sort of east, temporary permanent east, isn't he, at the moment? So, yeah, that's his Bloomfield
I've got
Road.
a huge head, so it's covering the stadium.
Brandon Sutton is here. He says, do you think CJ was rushed back into the first team football from his injury? Do you think he was rushed back? Do you think he's not ready yet? And is that why he's got injured again?
I do.
Yeah, I think he was rushed back.
This is something we've touched upon in the last couple of podcasts. Like, I think rather than starting CJ Hamilton down the right, he'd been better coming, playing 20, 30 minutes a game rather than going straight from the off, and that would have helped him to bed back in and also make sure that he didn't get any reoccurring knocks, which he seems to have done.
Yeah, plus, of course, it wouldn't have put quite as much pressure on him because he's only coming on in the last 20 minutes. And if you're lucky, you could be 2-0 up or something and you're coming onto an easy game and he's not having it all to do at the start. Yeah. So what do you think, Peter? Do you think he was rushed back as well?
Definitely a little of it, especially starting him against, was it Fleetwood he started against?
Yeah, he did.
And yeah. I think it would be better that he would have been brought on against some tired defences initially and then maybe started against, say, Oxford on Saturday or something.
Yeah, he doesn't want to start. I agree. I don't think he should be starting. Michael Haig is here in the box of toys we trust. It's Michael here. He says, personally speaking, think we need to keep the same side for Saturday as a second half performance, playing and changing to the 5-4-1 system. And he also says that he thinks that was the best we have played all season in the second half of last night's match. I'm not sure it was the best we've played all season. We've actually played some fantastic football at times this season. I thought Portsmouth away, we were epic away at Portsmouth. I thought we just, I thought we actually started Portsmouth's bad run, really. They just couldn't cope with us. I thought we were superb at Charlton.
Yeah.
I thought, in fact, I think we're better away than at home at the moment. And I don't know why that is. That's the only disappointing thing for me, that our home form is not been good really all season, has it? Even at the start of the season, we were getting beat. Ipswich came down and beat us. Lincoln came and beat us. Charlton beat us at home. So we have improved our home. We're not getting beaten, but I don't think our away form is phenomenal, and I can't understand why that is.
Lack of fans.
Lack of what?
Fans. I think the whole COVID situations and kind of neutralised everything, hasn't it? There's no home advantage.
No, but again, there's no away advantage. There's no advantage at all. So why are we better away from home than we are at home? What is it? Is it the way we set up away from home that's doing it? Are we playing a different game away from home that we play at home? Is there a weight on the shoulders of the Blackpool players that they should be winning at home, and the fact that we're not doing it comfortably it's a mental thing? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know what you guys think.
There's a few
what
things
you guys think in the comments as well. Post in the comments if you think there's a reason why we're not dominant at home. And I think we should be dominant at home. I think we're good enough to be dominant. I think, when you watch that second half and you saw how good we were against a very good side, we are a good side. Definitely. So why is it?
Yeah. Looking at the form table as well, the stats had actually showed that we're better away. So do you agree with what you're saying than we are at home? I know we are a lot higher up the table in the form table away than playing the games at Bloomfield Road.
Right. Okay. Michael Haig says that CJ has a bruised toe. That's coming, so that would be okay if it is a bruised toe. Michael does get some insider information at times, so hopefully that sounds very good news. If it's only a bruised toe, that's not so bad. Devon Porter, though, asked, this is a question for us all, and I think we all know the answer to this one. He said, did not get to watch the Blackpool versus Burton Albion game last night. Can you give me an update on Kevin Stewart's performance in that game? Well, no, we can't, Devon, because he wasn't playing because he's injured. So it was Dougal and Virtue. So we can't tell you how Kevin Stewart played because he didn't play. Which leads us to maybe going through the team, if we want to do that, and our player ratings. Are we ready for that? Starting off with the goalkeeper, Chris Maxwell. Player rating. How do you reckon he played?
I go first, Peter.
Classic Maxwell performance. Yeah, classic Maxwell performance, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was solid all match.
Yeah.
That's typical confident performance. I'd say 7.
Yeah, 7. He didn't have he spilled a couple, didn't he, last night, which could have on another day could have gone wrong, but we kind of got away with it again, didn't we, with him? But he did spill a couple, but on the most he was solid, and I'd go with 7 as well. I'd agree with you, Freddie.
I'd go over 6. I'd give Maxwell a 6. And when you're looking at their goal, Burton's goal, the ball actually went through Maxwell's legs. I wasn't happy with that. So yeah, that's the reason I give him 6.
Right. I'm just actually, I was just trying to get the team list up there on Twitter, and I've just noticed that Blackpool FC have tweeted, who wants to play at FIFA 21
with Jordan Gabriel.
Jordan Gabriel. So they're not playing him on the team, but they want him playing FIFA 21 with everybody. I think that's a bit of I'm not sure about that. I think that's a bit of a
Can't be any worse than Kernan Dewsbury Hall.
Oh yeah, no, he was so bad, wasn't he? He let everybody down. I don't know if you watched that, Freddie. He was on a FIFA tournament, wasn't he, for Blackpool? He played honestly, he played so bad. He was garbage, and just kind of ruined his Blackpool career on FIFA 21. I think it was on Twitch stream or something. It was really bad.
All right,
right. It started lockdown 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a lockdown thing. He didn't play very well, and I know how good Seb is on FIFA. I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? Because Seb used to come around to my house and play FIFA all the time. He'd come around and stay over the night, and he'd bring all his FIFA with him, and I'd be watching with him, and I quite enjoyed it. It was like playing football. I did play with him a few times, but I wasn't very good at it, and I know he'd normally be shouting at me and saying, "Come on, Dad, you press the X button. You're doing the wrong thing." But he was brilliant, and I'd seen how good he could play, and I did just let it down. So I don't know. Is anybody out there going to take Gabriel on? It's just a shame that they've got him playing FIFA, but they haven't got him blooming in the team. So Maxwell, we're all agreed. Steady, but nothing fantastic from Maxwell, and he did spill a few, didn't he, last night? But I still think he's a solid keeper. I thought his kicking was great last night. He did nothing wrong with kicking. What was there a point in the first half where he came out a bit and he was almost out? He missed it, if I remember right, in the first half, and it was a bit hairy for 10 seconds while we actually managed to clear it. But he came out and missed punching the ball or something. I seem to remember in the first half, it just vaguely.
Yeah, he does tend to do that. He did that against Fleetwood as well. He came out and completely missed the ball. Yeah, he's a fantastic goalkeeper. He just worries me sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't worry me too much, but I think he's a class keeper. I mean, all keepers are, no keepers are going to be at 100% perfect all the time, but I think he's the kind of best we can get. Ollie Turton is next. I think he was outstanding.
Ollie Turton, I feel another 7 out of 10. He combined well with Mitchell, and also you looked to get forward last night, which I was delightedly surprised by.
Yeah, I think we've got to knock him down a bit, haven't we, for keep knocking the ball out for throw-ins. I think apart from, I think that was his mistake last night. He kept putting balls out for throw-ins. You've already touched on it, and it was putting us under a hell of a lot of pressure, wasn't it? The ball did not want to go out for a throw-in, but there's not many games, if I'm being honest, where you're going to get that kind of thing coming in on throw-ins all the time. It was bloody murder last night, I must admit. Every time it was a throw-in, and he took every one, didn't he? I kept thinking he'd tire out. His arms would get tired or something. He wouldn't be able to throw it quite as far, but he really did have a very big throw in him. So what's your out of 10, Peter, on Ollie Turton?
I'll agree with Freddie, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's unanimous then. 7 across the board. I'm going for 7 as well. Dan Ballard. Freddie, you can go first on this one.
Okay. For me, Ballard would have got a 6 yesterday. I felt that his distribution could have been a lot better than what it was.
Right. I can honestly say for me, I didn't really notice him good or bad, if I'm being honest. So I'll just give him a 7 because he just wasn't. He wasn't in my mind, if you know what I mean. I was neither seeing him doing bad or seeing him doing good. He just was he was just there for me. I hardly even noticed him in the game, if I'm being honest. So yeah, I'll give him a 7 just out of kindness. Peter?
I'll agree. It was typical that you didn't see much of him during the game. Amy didn't do anything particularly good or bad, so around the 6 to 7 mark for me.
Okay, just before we go on to the next player, just go to a couple of comments here quickly. Michael Haig again says that Critch says it's only a matter of time before we become a good team to then becoming a very good team. I think we're already a good team. We're not consistently a good team. That's the only problem. But I think we're already a good team. If he can get us to be a very good team, for me, that would be to be consistently a good team. I don't think we need to be a very good team. We just need to be a consistently good team and play the way we know we can play for 90 minutes of a game. would that be a good team to you if we were consistently good? Or do we need to be better?
Yeah, I've just said time and time again this season that if we was a good, as good offensively as we are defensively, then we'd be minimum playoffs. I think we are fantastic defensive. It's just obviously going forward that's not getting that second goal that could, it's costing us.
Peter, do you think we're a good team turning into a very good team, or do you think we're not a good team yet?
I think overall it's a good team. Defensively, yes, solid. Midfield's looking good, but it's the striker department once again where we don't seem to be able to quite finish teams off, which has obviously led to a couple of draws in the past few weeks.
Yeah. What was the difference then between that Wigan game when we put 5 past them? What were Wigan just bloody awful, and that's why we got 5? Or because I after that game I was flying. I tell you, I thought this is it. I thought we've turned the corner here. I thought we've got this Ellis Sims in. He looks amazing. I thought we are going to be a major force going into the second half of the season. We just put 5 past Wigan away, and I'm starting to dream of automatic and everything else. And since then, we've gone back to just getting one. Well, we had 3 goals at Charlton, but we were lucky there, weren't we? Because they went down to 9 men. But it is goal scoring, isn't it? And I was disappointed. And I'm sure you two guys were disappointed as well. The January transfer window, there was so many rumours about players that we were after. There was a lad from the division below, wasn't there, that had scored about 20 odd goals or something. We're supposed to be after him. We're supposed to be after that young kid from Wigan. That was all apparently a done deal, wasn't he? He was a done deal coming through, and in the end, we just ended up with a young, unproven 21-year-old academy player from Everton. Thank you very much. But I didn't think that's what we needed. We let Ryan Hardy go. We let Hardy go, didn't we?
Hardy never wanted to be at the club, though, did he? He always wanted to go and play at Plymouth. And that guy you're talking about, there's a guy called Paul Mullin from Cambridge.
Paul Mullin, that's it, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I do think it should be one of the players that we look to sign for in the summer. Yates did really well at that level, stepped up reasonably well in Division 1, got 14 goals now. I feel that Mullin would be a great signing for us if we can get him in the summer.
Right. Yeah, we do definitely need, I think, for any club with ambition, you need 4 good strikers because they're never going to make the whole, it's very rare they're all going to stay fit for the whole season. There's rotation. There's lots of games that that come at the start of the season, which are FA Cup, the other cups, the Carabao Cup, all that sort of. And I think you should have a minimum. I think most teams would have like 4 decent strikers, and I think just having the 2 has been our downfall, really. I think just Yates and Madine would have been all right if Madine hadn't gotten injured. There is a lot of talk that Madine was carrying an injury for quite a while. It's his groin that's the problem, and he's been carrying that for a while. The club knew about it. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they really had. I think everybody was expecting a striker in, and I think even Matt Scrafton on the last transfer day was tweeting all day that something's coming in, didn't it? It didn't happen, did it? So I think that's where we've messed up this season, just on not bolstering those strikers. And we're saying it week in, week out, aren't we? Saying the same thing. It's like a broken record.
Yeah. I know the strikers that we went for, or I believe that we went for. There was a young lad from Blackburn who was released, and he went to a Division 1 club. I think we tried to sign him. I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, he's done well, Division 1. So yeah, it's just, I think it was just unfortunate, and hopefully, I say, keep doing this, but in summer we can address the final third and get some good players in.
Right. Yep. Right. Paul Heaton says that every player in the squad has not sampled the Seaside home support this season, so they don't know if they're actually home or away. So I'm sure they'll know because they got on a coach, but yeah, they haven't had the backing of the Blackpool fans. And there's one thing we can say about Blackpool: we are loud, aren't we? You know, I'm always proud to say that we have a great support. The North Stand is incredible, and it always gets remarked on by away supporters at how vocal we are. You know, even the South does to some extent, you know, make a racket, but the North Stand's unbelievable for noise. And they just haven't had it. And, you know, I sometimes think in some of those games, if they had the support behind, you know, they may have been wins rather than draws. So I agree with you, Paul. What do you guys think? Are we missing this home support? Are they missing us?
I love going for a row when it's full. It's electrifying, and definitely raises the players' games. We're always classed as the 12th man in the stadium, and I really miss that. I really miss being involved in that atmosphere.
Yep.
Yeah, just look at the Swindon game start of the season.
Yes, when we had 1,000 in, it made the difference, didn't it?
As I was part of the 1,000 that was in there that day, the sound that even 1,000 fans made was quite good, and it's definitely buoyed CJ Hamilton's game on that day.
Yeah, it did.
They scored twice.
Yeah, you can't beat having a crowd, and Blackpool fans are unbelievable. You know, we just were. I mean, I always think we rode us into the Premier League, to be honest. I think we made the team play well above themselves just purely because of the atmosphere that was at that ground at that time. It was unbelievable, you know, through that Premier promotion season and the Premier League and the season after. The noise was deafening at times at Blackpool. It was really good. Michael Haig again. Hi, Michael. Says Kai performance first half was 4 out of 10. Yet second half performance was one of the best performances of the season. So you can give him an 8+. Such a frustrating player to watch at times. Well, we haven't got to Kai, but go on. We'll do him now. So what do you think? Kai, was that second half one of his best performances in a Blackpool shirt? What do you think?
I think Kai. It's like he's got a twin brother, doesn't it? First half, he was
comes off for the second half.
He was absolutely terrible, and I saw a lot of tweets and a lot of people saying, "Why is he this bad? He doesn't look bothered anymore. He's not going to get a contract again in summer." But then I don't know if he got an absolute bollocking at half time, but then he came on and he was fantastic. He looked to have dropped more into the 10 role position where he could. I felt like he dictated play a lot more. And overall, second half, he was absolutely fantastic. The rating I'd give him, going over both halves, I'd probably give him a 7, in all honesty.
Okay. Peter, Kai, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts?
The thing with Kai is, I think he's one of these luxury players because he's got that bit of flair about him, but that doesn't translate well to League One. I think it's almost like he's in the wrong style of league. You know, like how Spanish players and Brazilian players don't translate well to the Premier League.
Yeah.
But Kai's style of play doesn't translate well to this level, but when he does turn the style on, boy, is he one of the best players at this club.
Yeah, so what are you giving him out of 10, Peter, for that? What's your verdict on him?
7.
7, okay, right. I know Michael's pushing for us to give him an 8, but this is what I think about Kai, and I think with Kai that when he is playing well, he is head and shoulders above anybody in that team. He's shoulders above anybody in this division. He is so frightening a player, and he can do things that, he just looks strong, big, powerful. He's tricky. He kind of sambas in. He can do step overs. He can do all the tricks and flicks. When he's he's in it. But when he's bad, he's just garbage, isn't he? So for me, he is that most frustrating player because, if he played to his potential all the time, he would win games for us over and over again, because I think when he's on form, he's totally unplayable. He's an unbelievable player, but it's just that frustration that he just doesn't give it all the time. And I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm going to give him a 7 as well for that, because his first half, he can't get an 8 no matter how good he played the second half, because if he'd have played as well in first half as he did in the second, we'd be talking about a win tonight, wouldn't we?
Possibly, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so moving on, we've done Chris Maxwell, Ollie Turk, we've done Dan Ballard, James Husband last night. I thought he was awesome in defence last night. I thought James Husband had a fantastic game. I thought our defence, I thought the amount of balls that were put into that box, maybe I didn't notice Ballard doing them, but the amount of aerial bombardment we got in that box throughout the entire game, our defence was solid against it all the way through. And I thought Husband was epic in the centre of defence. I don't think he was quite as good as we see him going forward, but I think he's taken to the centre half position, which at one time people were saying, "Oh God, don't put him in the centre half because he's going to get a red card and all the rest of it." He has really turned into a class centre half, I think, and I thought he was a reason why we didn't concede any more goals than one last night from that continual. I mean, it was continual aerial bombardment into the box. If it wasn't a corner, it was a throw-in coming in, and it was. I don't know how many corners they got, but if they got 20 throw-ins plus all the corners, and we withstood the whole lot of it, I think he did fantastic. Anyway, I'll give him I'm actually going to give him an 8.5 out of 10. How's that for Husband? So there we go. I can see eyebrows are raising. What do you think, Freddie? Didn't notice him. Didn't think he did much. Didn't see all the headers and the clearances.
I thought he had a good game, to be fair. I feel maybe 8.5 is a little bit generous. I'd give him a 7. I thought he had a good game. We only conceded 1 goal. I thought it was okay. 7 for me.
Okay. Peter?
Oh, Husband's definitely grown as a centre-back this season. I mean, against Ipswich, awful, sent off after 2 minutes, and then comes back in as a centre-back the last few games. I thought, oh no, what are we going to get this time? But the past few games, he has much improved in his central playing role that Critchley has given him. So last night, I'd give him probably a 7.5.
Maybe I'll knock a half a point off for the bun. Maybe that's the thing. But maybe the bun has transformed him, because since he's had that bun, he has been playing better, hasn't he? So I know we call him Bun Man on our show, but maybe I'll give him an 8. Then I'll take half a point off for having that stupid bun on his head. Okay. Oh, blimey, yeah. Somebody's reminding me of this. Paul Eaton said, remember in the 70s, the pit along the touchline was banked up. So if you played a ball down the line, it sometimes stayed in play. It did, actually. I think there used to be like a bit of a, if I remember on Bullyfield Road, there used to be like a bit of a dip, and it did used to go up to one side. So the ball did stay in quite sometimes on the touchline, because we did put the balls out a few times, but so did they as well, didn't they, in the game? Right, the next player is Luke Garbett. We'll go with Freddie first. Luke Garbett.
Okay, Luke Garbett, I'd give a good 7.5 to. I think he was fantastic from set pieces. Took his goal well. Had a good game for me. 7.5.
Okay. Peter? Garbett?
Oh, like Freddie, I thought that Garbett had a good game. He attacked well. Oh, when he had the ball, the build up to the goal was fantastic, where he got that interception in and then ran onto it and basically created the chance for himself.
Yeah.
So for that, I'll go for an 8.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there, Peter, on that. I thought again. I thought he got us the draw. He did get us the draw basically by himself. I think he's dangerous. I think his set pieces are good. I just think he's a good asset to the team. And I'm going to give him an 8 as well. I did. I'm always a bit generous here, maybe, but yeah, I'll give him an 8. Kenny Dougal. Kenny Dougal. What's the thoughts on? We've been crying out for him to be on the team.
Garbutt's actually got a bun, so I'll up it 0.5 to I'll go an 8 with you guys.
Excellent. Right, who Kenny Dougal, the blonde-haired streaky mess. Well, he needs to get to the hairdressers. Definitely, he's kind of 2 colours on that top of his head, and he's got blonde and I don't know. His highlights are all going out or something. But whether he's just going to grow the blonde out, I don't know whether that's the plan. But maybe the lockdown.
At least he's got highlight
syndrome. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Kenny Dougal. Do you want me to go first on Kenny Dougal? I've been championing him coming into the team, and I'm a big fan of him. I thought he was very poor first half. I thought he gave a lot of balls away. He was dispossessed a few times as well, got himself in trouble. They took the ball off him, and I just thought he was a bit of a headless chicken in the first half. I'm being honest. I didn't think he was doing anything until the last 10 minutes of that first half, where we started to click. I thought second half he was a different player, and again, whether he had a bit of a roasting at half time as well, but he played superb in that second half. He was just part of a very, very good team in the second half. We were a very good team. So I'm going to give Kenny Dougal a 7 just purely because he didn't perform in the first half for me. So, but good in the second half. So, Freddie, what do you think on Kenny Dougal?
I completely agree with you there. Wasn't at his best in the first half. Second half improved. I didn't think he was anywhere near his best. So I'm going to give him a 6.5.
Yeah. Okay. Peter, Kenny Dougal.
Yeah, obviously, first half it was bad. I remember Kenny giving away a couple of balls in the midfield first half, and then much improved second half. So 6.5.
Yeah, he was sloppy, wasn't he? He was sloppy in that first half. There was a few balls he put out and all sorts. He just wasn't firing first half. So yeah. So sorry. Kenny, but you've got to do better for us. Michael Hagee says that, trust me, the club knew about the Madine injury, and that is a fact. So it's a fact from Michael. It's not a fact from us, but it's a fact from Michael that the club did know about this Madine injury, which is, if they did, well, then shame on them, because they should have brought somebody in. They should have done, they should have moved heaven and earth to get somebody in if he was carrying this injury and they knew it was coming and they knew he'd have to miss games, because it's cost, it's cost us it may not cost us, but it has cost us a great chance of being up there and really pushing for it. And it's a shame we're not. Brandon Sutton says, hello, Brandon. He says, teams are more likely to attack us at their home, so there is space to play and use the pace in the team, but we don't have the best technical quality to break down stubborn defences that remain compact. Would that be fair to say? Is that the reason why we're better away from home? Because we're playing against teams that are not quite as compact in defence and give us a bit more space, and we capitalise on that. And when they come here, they play a very, very sort of catches on the break defensive style of play, and we're not. I don't know why we're not good enough to break them down. Would that be the reason? Would that make logical sense to us? If that's the reason why we're not winning at home?
I believe so. I do think that teams that attack us. The teams that attack us, they do leave spaces, and then we can exploit them and then them spaces. So yeah, if it's a case of teams coming back and sitting back a little bit and making us work, that could be a reason.
Yeah, Peter, I know you're going to just say something then.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably why we didn't perform at our best down at Gillingham earlier in the season, for example.
Yeah,
because that was a pretty awful game from what I remember back in September.
Yeah, they stifled us, didn't they? The defence stifled us. Well, they cheated as well down at Gillingham. Do you not think it was so much game management? It was embarrassing. I didn't like
typical Steve Evans.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it? It took about half an hour for one player to walk off the pitch, didn't it? And then every time they go down for a free kick, they bring like 2 trainers on and all the rest of it, and they just waste time all the time, and it just unsettled us, didn't it, Gillingham? But do you think they played very tight defensively against us? Caught us on the break.
Most definitely.
It was like two.
Typically what Gillingham play.
Yeah. I'm just trying to remember the goals at Gillingham. There was that they were both like breakaway goals. There was one where we actually gave it away and they put the ball across put a beautiful ball across the right winger who hit one from quite a way out, if I remember right. Just trying to remember what the Gillingham goals were like, but I seem to remember they were quite good. But they did go a bit against the run of play, from what I can remember. But yeah, that's maybe the reason, Brandon, you've maybe hit the nail on the head there, that it's easier for us to play our game when we have teams that are actually attacking us rather than teams that are defending against us.
Yeah, I do have a question for you guys.
What
I'd like to ask is, we've touched upon now on several occasions that the club knew that Madine was injured. We were only able to bring in Sims. How would you feel about maybe giving Holmes from the academy a chance? I know it's a similar thing happened with Wigan, and they were able to play Carl Joseph, and he did really, really well. Now, I think Holmes is a fantastic player, got a load of potential, and he's most games that he plays for the academy, he's scoring goals for fun. So is it not worth maybe taking a chance on him and seeing what he can actually do for the first team?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because Ellis Sims was also in an academy, and he was, he banged 50 goals in 50. So he was coming into the team banging form, and he hasn't really, if I'm being honest about it, I don't think he's stepped up to the plate as much as they probably hoped he would. It's a big step up from playing kids as to playing men, and I've not seen him play. Obviously I don't see any academy games, so I don't know what sort of player he is. I think he's worth giving. I think the problem is, this is a problem. I think we're not winning games comfortably. If we'd have been 2 or 3 up last night, he'd have brought him on. He'd have brought him on for the last 10 minutes. It'd have given him a game. Yeah. But he can't give him a game because he can't risk it. Because if he takes, who's he going to take off for him? So he'd either take off Jerry Yates, Kai, or Mitchell to bring this young kid on last night. And we're not, the game's on a knife edge. They've got this guy throwing in throw-ins from 40 yards away. Although we are the better team, there's still always that chance they could just nick a goal, isn't there? There's always a chance when they're throwing balls in, and I just don't think
parcel's here.
It's a parcel.
Parcel's here.
Go on, these parcel people, don't wait.
Sorry, there's someone at the door.
Okay, that's okay. Let's find out what it is. What she ordered. But yeah,
I'm surprised they're actually not on the door. Half of them just dump it and go.
I just think that Critchley can't bring these young kids in because we're just not in a position, a comfortable, and he brought Ellis Sims on against Wigan because we were already 3-0 up, and we were cruising, weren't we? And we just have not got into that position where he even brought Apter on, didn't he, as well? Because and he looked good, didn't he? I mean, he put the perfect. Jane keeps saying they need to bring Apter on just for the corners at the end because his corner was like beautiful, wasn't it? But do you agree with me that we just can't do it because we're just not dominating games enough to risk bringing these young kids on? I mean, I would like to see him, but I don't know whether I'd have liked him coming on or not last night, because I don't know. Would you have taken Jerry Yates off and put him on? I don't know. What do you think?
What I would like to see, obviously, it wasn't possible to play him last night, but the games that if we're playing and we're winning maybe 1-2-0. Then like you said, get him on, see what he can do, and see if he can add anything, and see if he can address, resolve a problem in the fourth there for us.
Right. What about you, Peter?
I don't understand why we don't play Ewan Banjay.
Ewan Banj, well, he did have. He had a game, didn't he, last year? We played, if you remember, we played Carlisle in the Carabao, whatever, Papa John's bloody thing, or whatever it is, away. Jane went to it, and Ewan Banj came on, and he didn't play very good. Grayson, I can't remember if he started him or brought him on the second half, but he didn't do much. He really didn't do much. And whether, but again, that was Grayson, not Critch, was he? But, you know, the only thing I always, this is what I think about this, right? We have got Neil Critchley, who has been coaching the Liverpool Academy for 8 years. It started off at under 18s and rose to the head of the academy doing the under 23s. And Critch, I'm 110% sure that he will have his eye on the ball on the academy and know how good the lads are, whether he can bring them in, or whether they're ready or whether they're not. And I tend to, at the moment, if I'm being honest, I would go with Critch's opinion rather than my opinion on whether we should or not, because I think he's experienced enough at that level to know if these boys are good enough yet. I don't know what you think, but
there was a video recently that Kieran Donnelly did, and Kieran Donnelly actually spoke about Critchley and his involvement with the academy, and says that, you know, he offers his opinion, and he really tries to do quite a lot with the academy, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah. Well, he is academy. I mean, you can see that the club are looking to sort of improve the whole academy structure of Blackpool Football Club. It's been neglected, like ridiculously neglected. I've talked to people who have watched academy games for years and years. You know, they go and watch them, and they've had boys in the academy and all this sort of stuff. And basically with Blackpool, you were in the academy, then you got to 18, and then basically in the end there was just nowhere for you to go. There was no progression. So all they did with all the academy boys year after year after year was just send them out on loan somewhere and then just forget about them, and they just eventually just became lost players, and they never got anywhere. It was you don't really see many Blackpool Academy boys anywhere in any team anywhere. You know, that was it. It was a dead end. So
yeah,
I think they've looked at all this, and you can see from those plans, if you saw them in the Gazette, of what they're wanting to put in at the side of the ground, and the fact that they're looking at the academy, and there was pitches around the ground, all sorts of stuff, wasn't there, around the ground? I don't know what that big massive training thing is down the side of Central Drive, and they're looking to move the training ground and everything else. And I think the academy is such a major part of what Sadler and the other people have got in mind to start bringing, you know, a conveyor belt of boys through. And I think, and I could be wrong, but I think that's one of the reasons why they got Neil Critchley in. Apart from just being a manager of Blackpool Football Club, I think they're looking at it long term, that this guy is going to get us an academy like Liverpool, and we're going to start seeing boys come through and sell them on. And that's where all the money is. I think it is. You know, if you just get one boy who comes through the academy, gets into the first team, and gets taken for, say, I don't know, £5-10 million, he's that good. It's paid for the academy for the next 20 years. I think that's sensible.
I can only think of two players that's properly made the grade the past 10 years or so.
Yeah, go on.
Ashley Easton,
right?
Them currently in League One.
Who's he playing for?
And Bright Asai Samuel.
Yeah,
I thought about that.
Did Asai Samuel though? Did we not bring him in from some other academy? I don't think he was with us from the start, was he? Bright Asai Samuel.
Well, I think he's from London.
Yes,
but I'm sure he graduated from our youth team.
Did he, or did we bring him in? Did we like poach him in? I can't remember with him whether he actually came through, but yeah, that's it. Sure. So two boys. There is another one as well.
Tom Bartekusen for
Tom Bartekusen,
yeah,
but he did make it into the first team, and for whatever reason we let him go, and I think that was a big mistake with Bartekusen, because he did play for Blackpool quite a few times, didn't he? So he did break into our team. But those other two players that you're talking about there, Peter, they never broke into Blackpool's team. We never saw them play for Blackpool. They were just farmed out and managed to make it on their own. But yeah,
I think Bright played under McDonald.
He did.
In the League One season.
Yeah. But did he come through our academy? I can't remember. But anyway, even if we had 2 players coming through the academy over 10 years, it's not enough, is it? It's just not enough. You know, you look at how many boys Crew were bringing through, you know, year after year after year after year, selling them on. And I think, you know, the academy is amazing. I mean, Seb was playing at Burnley Academy for a little while when he was younger, and they have got a great setup there, you know, a much better setup than we have. And he went to Blackpool Academy. He was picked up late in the season, and he didn't get taken on because he didn't have enough games really to, you know, they had a look at him in say February, and by April he'd only played about 10 games, and they just didn't take him on. But it was all down at it's down where the agricultural place is. What's it called? I can't think of them. Myerscough, yeah. So we had to go to Myerscough. They got a good setup there, but you were playing on their 4G pitches, which is fantastic. But it wasn't it wasn't Blackpool that you were going to. It was Myerscough, and so, you know, I think that's the way forward. And I think that's the other part to Critch, which people are just not seeing, that it's not just this year. It's a project.
Yeah,
they call it the Blackpool way, don't they? They call it. They want to play the Blackpool way. You know, they're banging on about this Blackpool way all the time, aren't they? But you know, we should be the entertainers. We are. That's what Blackpool's based on, entertaining, isn't it? And we want to see entertaining football, and we want to see, you know, attacking football and exciting football. And I think at times we do see glimpses of it, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a project, and hopefully we go up this season. But if not, then you know, obviously going along the project, I think we should definitely get promotion next season.
Okay, Peter, do you agree? Do you think Critch is part of a bigger picture, and it's all going to come? You know, over the years, we're going to see the fruits of all this coming through as Blackpool become a team that cement themselves in the Championship, which is, I think that's where we'd all like to be minimum, would it? Cemented in the Championship?
Yeah, I think our natural level's probably lower mid Championship, and that's where I'd like to see us step up to over the next couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And get up there and maybe occasionally go for promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think that's where I think we can be seen at.
Yeah, I think if we could, I know it's always ifs, buts and maybes, but if we could get back just one season in the Premier League with these owners, we'd see a massive sea change. Because unfortunately, you know, we all know we got £96 million and we haven't really seen a penny of that invested in the club, and it's now 115 million or whatever it is. I think if they were sensible and did what the Oystons did. The Oystons did what I would have done, and I'm going to be controversial here, but I said if I was owner of Blackpool and I got them in the Premier League, I would. Well, I always said, I posted years ago that I would call us the England team, and I would only have players in from England, and I would put out to any sort of like decent player in the Championship or below. There was a good player that wanted to play in the England team and be like just an English team, and not have the most, wonderful players in the world playing amazing, ridiculous wages. And I would give it a go, and I would come, and if I came down, I was coming down with a plan that when I came down with 115 million, I was then going to start building a bloody fantastic team to come back into the Premier League with the money that they give me. And I'd have done that over and over and over again. I would have gone up and down 20 times and taken the money 20 times and built it bigger and bigger and stronger every time with it. And I'd have put things in place, and I would have used that massive money that they give in the club to give it to the club, not to give it all in wages. And I would have built something fantastic. And I actually thought that that's what the Oystons were going to do. I thought that was the plan. I thought they're like me, they don't like spending their own money, so they'll get a load of somebody else's money and then use it to get more of somebody else's, and not spend their own money, just keep going it, just getting up, get another 96 million, come back down, put it into the team, go back up and use somebody else's money. And I've never understood why they just decided to take all that money and just like never try and get in again, you know what I mean, and do it again and get another 96 million and get in again, and
just pure greed, Lee. Just pure greed.
Yeah, but to me, the greed, I had to be greedy, but I want it. You know, I want to go back, keep going back to the trough. You know, if somebody I've said this loads of times. If somebody came up to you and then they said, "Look, I've got this little box, and if you put this little box at the end of your street, it's going to make you 10,000 quid this year. You don't have to do anything. Just put the little box there. You know, just make you 10,000 quid," and it did. You'd be wanting more and more of them boxes, wouldn't you? You'd be saying, "You want to have all those boxes I can put on like St. Elias Road and somewhere else." You'd be trying to, you know, and I thought that money was like, it's like a freebie in it from the Premier League. It's like, thank you, 96 million quid. Here you go. Or now it's 115. There you go, lads. Do with that what you want. You know, use it. Come back up. We'll give you another 115 million. I thought their greed would be to just keep getting it, you know, without them to spend their money. But I don't know. That's what I would have done anyway. And
we had a really good team as well. That team that played against West Ham at Wembley, would have kept that team together. Maybe added another 1 or 2 quality players, then you know we could have got on the next season. Unfortunately, ex-players have come forward and said that the Oystons wanted to strip back, and you know they brought the salaries down, and you know people like Southern started leaving. It's such a shame that we really couldn't build on that, and then as you say, maybe be a yo-yo for a few years, and then
just a yo-yo club. Just a yo-yo club. The other thing as well about that game, against West Ham, the lad that scored the winner for West Ham was the lad that, you know, Holloway was trying to get him in January. I can't remember what his name was. But yeah, that's it.
Ricardo Vazte.
Yeah, Vazte. Well, Holloway wanted him. It's been public knowledge that he tried to get him. The Oystons wouldn't. I think they got him for something like 1.7 million or something. I can't remember the figure that West Ham played for. It might have even been less than that. But you know, I'm sure that stuck in Holloway's craw, I would imagine, because when that lad scored the winner against him and took away his dream again, and he was the lad he wanted, he's never said anything about it, but I bet it did hurt him. I really do. I bet it did hurt him, and I bet he thought, Jesus, if I'd have had that lad, we'd be back in the Premier League now. And it was that reluctance to spend any money on a decent player, wasn't it? The Oystons would not spend any money on a decent player. They made Bellicom buy Charlie Adam, didn't they? You know, they may have bought Vaughan. You know, they got the money back on DJ Campbell quick as they could, didn't they? And sold him for the same money, you know, they paid for him. And they just were very, very reluctant to actually spend on a player. And even like a £500,000 player, which you know for a fact, you know, if somebody gives you £96 million and you just spend like £500,000 or £1 million a player, you're not risking any of your money, are you? They give you bloody 96 of them. You can take a little, you know, I'm not asking him to buy a £96 million player, but a £500,000 or $1 million that they could have done, but they didn't do. And I hope that Simon Sadler does that. I kind of think he will. I kind of believe he will. I want to believe that he knows what we're after. I know we sing it. Do you think he knows what we're after?
I think that if we got to that position again, Sadler's, I believe that we'd sign quality players under Sadler. He gives us the best opportunity to keep moving forward.
Yeah. What do you think, Peter? Do you think Simon Sadler will? Do you think Simon Sadler does know what we're after? Does he know it?
I like to think that he does. I think we're very fortunate to have got one of the better owners in the Football League at the minute.
Yeah.
And that's actually cares about not only the club, but the whole town of Blackpool. Just look at what the fans did over Christmas for the kids. I think it was something like 40,000 the fans actually raised themselves. And then Sadler put another 40 grand into that as well.
Mm. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
We actually
spotted sorry, I was going to say we actually spotted the other day of how Sadler's actually more of a fan compared to like the Oystons. I know Owen was a fan, but obviously he let Carl run the club, and Carl wasn't a Blackpool fan at all. He was more just a pure businessman. No, sadly, he's a massive Blackpool fan. It's where his heart is, and I feel that if we're going to move and get back into the Premier League one day, what a fantastic guy to be owned by to do that.
Yeah, it certainly won't. You won't probably remember, Freddie, but there was a time way back when where the Blackpool fans raised money to buy Andy Watson superstar. We actually raised the money when Owen was in charge. It was we loved him to death because we all raised the money to get him. I think it was 50 grand, and all the fans chipped in together. And Andy Watson, we bought him. It was all raised by the fans. So hopefully those days will never ever come back. But there was something really special about buying Andy Watson superstar, as he was called. It's Andy Watson superstar. Paul Heaton says, to create space with stubborn defences, we need to drag defenders out of position for our forwards to run into. So instead of trying to play through them, we need to get the ball into wide positions. Well, I thought second half we were doing that, weren't we? We were shoving it was going out wide all the time. It was either being shoved out wide to Kake on the left or shoved out wide to Mitchell on the right. I thought, and I think that's probably what the difference in the second half was. I don't know why, because in the first half we were shoving everything down that right wing, and they were just blocking everything off, weren't they? The radio was saying there's nothing coming down the left. They're not coming down the left. It's all down the right. But it was all down on that right wing, but in the second half they weren't able to stop us like they were in the first half. And would we? I think we probably touched on it anyway. It was Embleton and taking Sims off that made the difference. Because somebody posted up in the comments, he said that Sims isn't strong enough. He gets pushed off the ball too much. And I don't know what you think about that, but I think, in fact, we will review him now. Sims, what did you think of him last night? Because I hate to slag players off, but it wasn't his best game, was it?
I'll give Sims a 5. I think he struggled to hold the ball, and he didn't really make any sort of impact at all. I thought it was just one of them days for him.
Yeah, it wasn't good. The ball tends to bounce off him a lot, doesn't it? It bounces off him. It doesn't stick on him. Like, he doesn't seem to have the ability to trap that ball in. There was a great there was a great trap by Jerry Yates. They put a great ball through. And remember, he kind of brought it down and then he knocked it on with his other leg out, put it out for a goal kick. It was so unlucky, but the ball he brought down, it was a dream. The way he brought it down, it came over his shoulder, brought it down, then he kind of kicked it onto his other leg. It was unfortunate. That was a chance. I couldn't see Ellis Sims doing that at the moment. It just seems to bounce off him. So I'm with you, Freddie, a 5. I'm afraid. Sorry, Ellis. I don't want to knock your confidence or anything. I don't like getting on top of players, but didn't think it was a good game for him. I think he was right to take him off. Peter,
I think it benefits Sims a lot from working with Madine, just learning how Madine controls the ball and his strength and them attributes, and I feel that it helped Ellis to bring his game on. Yeah.
Peter, Ellis Sims.
I agree. Last night wasn't his best game, exactly far from it. But at the end of the day, he's just 20 years old, and he's still learning his trade. Right. This is his first half season of proper men's football and not under 23s. So yeah, 5 out of 10, and it's definitely a fair rating for him, but he's still got a lot to learn.
He has. He totally has.
It shows you the step up, doesn't it, from playing under 23 football to playing men's football. I mean,
sure.
He was getting a goal a game for under 23s, and now he's come on to the men's league, and unfortunately, he's not getting that goal ratio.
Yeah, which is basically what I'm saying with these kids we were saying before, bringing them into the team. They need to come into the team, but they need to come into the team when there's it's easy for them to come into the team and not have them under so much pressure. So if you're 3-0 up, you can bring them on. You can bring Brad Holmes on, can't you? With 10 minutes to go, you're 3-0 up, cruising, bring him on. Bring them all on. But at the moment, we're not winning games comfortably enough to bring these boys in. Michael Hager said that Bright did graduate through the youth setup. I kind of know he did. I just thought we actually poached him from somewhere and brought him into our setup, and then. But I don't know if he came through as a kid. But anyway, I don't know. So it's just something in my head that tells me he didn't start with Blackpool. We nicked him from somewhere, didn't we? I think, but I'm not sure. So, Ray Cram says Blackpool need to have a strong end to the season. Not impossible to reach the playoffs. Need a striker who can get 20 goals a season. Well,
That's Yates.
We have got that striker, yeah, we have, but we need a few more around him and goals from other places. Where, you know, Matty Virtue scored a wonder goal away. He's not had another shot, I don't think, since then. That's really been anywhere near, has he? I know Embleton had a shot last night when that went really wide, didn't it? It was wide and no use. So, you know, we got a goal from a defender, so, you know, more of that. We haven't got Marvin Ekpiteta, who is becoming a heck of a goal scorer, wasn't he, from corners and stuff. We lost him. You know, he was getting goals at the end of the day. You know, Ekpiteta was getting goals. We've lost Madine, who was getting, you know, who's good. We lost Ekpiteta, who was coming up for corners and getting goals. So it's no wonder that we've dried up a little bit. You know, the height in the team is, we've not got a lot of height in the team, have we? Just, you know, we're not a tall team,
No,
are we?
we don't.
And that's a loss.
I think when Madine's not playing, we do struggle to offer anything.
Aerial.
You know, it's quite hard. Yeah, aerial, yeah.
I think there was a stat last night that said that they'd had something like 78. They won 78% of aerial battles. So, you know, that kind of tells it in itself, doesn't it? Yeah. I
was thinking about this a bit last night. I think we haven't really replaced Ryan Edwards.
Right.
He was a bit of one of the larger defenders what we had a couple seasons ago, and actually did score a few goals from corners.
Yeah. Well, that's where you need your tall defenders to come up, don't you, and grab a goal. And we were getting that, weren't we? Ekpiteta was starting to bang a few goals in. He was starting to become a bit of a goal. In fact, he was fast becoming Blackpool's top scorer at one stage, wasn't he? But, you know, we've just had the bad luck with injuries. You know, I know we touched on lots of things, but, you know, Critch is in his first season. He's lost his star striker, his star defender. You know, the lad we got, Gretterson, from, you know, that's another one, lost him. Who else have we lost? We've had COVID injuries. We've had COVID players out with COVID. He's not had a lot of luck with pretty important players, has he? You know, to add to everything that you know, if you were a manager, you'd be thinking, for God's sake, when you then he gets this Stewart in, who's obviously come from you know, he's been Liverpool and everything else, and he is a decent player, and he's got injured. You know, it's like, God, he must be pulling his hair out a little bit. You got to admit, he's not having a lot of luck with it. Forever Football PUFC Peterborough United is here. He's just come back from school, so good afternoon to you. He normally comes in on my streams. Michael Hay says, here we go. Had we invested in a centre half as well as a good keeper, we would have stayed up. Should have brought Shay Given in as well. Then, yeah, it would have been safe. That was the time of the Premier League. We should have done.
Touching on this Bright Samuel, I've actually looked on Wiki, and he started his youth career at Blackpool from the year 2014 to 2015. Right. And then from 2015 to 2017, he actually played for the first team, making 64 appearances.
Yeah, so we definitely got him. No, we got him from somewhere. We pulled him definitely from another. He definitely came in, but he didn't come through as a kid, did he? He's from London, but you know, but he did come through, and he was a good player when he came through. But we need more of him, don't we? We need, you know, and we've improved our scouting network. We keep talking about that. The scouting network's improved. He's put, you know, he brought Colin Calderwood in because the defence were shaky at the start of the season. He's obviously made a massive difference to that defence. He must have done, because I think this is one of the best defences we've ever had.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, I think the youth team's pulled in a few other players this season, haven't they, from other academies?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, it's all down to scouting.
I think there's that Marionette or whatever he's called that was on the bench at Wigan, who interestingly enough came from the Wigan Academy this season.
Okay, well, if you can't grow them yourself, nick somebody else's. I don't mind that. Who have we done now? I don't think we've done Matty Virtue yet, have we? As his rating. So Matty Virtue last night. We'll go with Freddie first. Go on, Freddie. I think.
Okay, give. No, I'm sorry. I'll give Virtue a 7. He was steady.
Steady, yeah.
Yeah, give it a 7 out of 10 yesterday.
Peter. Matty Virtue.
Yeah, it was another steady midfield performance from Virtue. I think he had a couple of other chances that went very wide in the first half, didn't he?
Mm.
When we weren't playing very well, but that in the second half was a bit improved and passed well. So 6 out of 10.
He was linking up, wasn't he, in the second half with Turton and Mitchell very well. They were doing some really nice little triangles, neat triangles. They did play very well. And I don't think he did enough in the second half to get more than a 6 from me, if I'm being honest. I thought he was poor. I thought they were all poor in the first half. So I'm just going to give, sorry, Matty, I'm giving you a 6 today. I don't think it was your best. We've kind of touched on Mitchell, haven't we, already? I mean, we touched on that earlier in this show. I think that's his best performance in a Blackpool shirt last night. And I'm going to give Dimitri Mitchell an 8.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9, Lee. I thought it was fantastic yesterday. Went the channel as well. Held the ball, got forward. I thought he had a fantastic game. 9 from me.
Okay.
I'll agree with Lee. 8.
Right. Okay. All right. And the only man left, we've done Kai, haven't we? Do we do Kai? I've actually given him a rating. I can't remember. We've done Sims. Kai rating. I can't remember if we have.
Yeah, we give Kai rating.
Yeah. Yep. So there's just Jerry Yates from the first 11 on the pitch, and then we've got Elliot Embleton, obviously. So Jerry Yates last night. I thought it was a pretty quiet night for Yates. Actually, I didn't think he was in. It wasn't his greatest game. He's always busy, isn't he, Yates? He's busy and he pops up all over the place. You never quite know where he is. He's on the left. He's in the middle. He's on. He's just all over the place. I'm just going to give Yates a 7 for last night for me.
Yeah, I agree with 7. There was actually a time where Yates was in the Burton's box, and he started wriggling a little bit, and he did an extra wriggle for me. If it took his shot off,
hit it with his left.
I feel that
hit it with his left.
Yeah. I feel that if he turned to me, he turned too many times to me. If he turned 3 times, but if he on the second turn, if it had a shot,
he had the chance.
Yeah, that could have been a goal, but he took one too many turns, and then he hits the outside of the.
It was on his wrong foot. That's the problem. I know exactly what you mean. He turned inside and it opened up to him, didn't he? And if he'd just hit it with his left, he had a chance of putting it across the face of goal. But he tried. Yeah. We all know this. And if he's a right-footed striker predominantly. So he tried to shift it back onto his right, and he put it onto his right, and they put it in the side netting, didn't he? He didn't even hit the target because it was that one turn too many. The defense got across, the goalie got across, and he ended up putting the side netting. And that was a chance. And I totally agree with you, Freddie. It was he should have hit it with his left. He should have just put it in. He had all the goal open, really, didn't he? And I couldn't understand why he turned again. In fact, it'd been better if it had been on the other side of the goal and it had been turning it from the left. The opportunity to come on his right to put it across the other way, but. Yeah, it was a missed opportunity, wasn't it, last night? Could have been the winner there, couldn't it, really? I thought he was going to score, actually, if I'm being honest. I couldn't believe he turned back again. I was with you. I was so angry.
Yeah, he's due a goal. I fancy him to get a goal against Oxford on Saturday.
But I can't give him too much. I can't be too harsh on him because he is a cracking player. He is a bloody phenomenal player. I really like him. Right, so you're the same, Peter, on Jerry Yates 7, or have you got other thoughts?
I thought he had a good game last night. He was doing his usual thing in the box where he was doing the whole turning thing. And yes, definitely one turn too many. Yeah. And the second turn opened up the goal. He could easily have maybe hit it with the outside of his right or something and got it curled in, but for some reason decided to turn back in onto his right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just
right. So definitely a 7.5.
7.5 from Peter. Okay, so we're all pretty much. And then, of course, Elliot Embleton, the name that I always find pretty hard to say. It's kind of a strange name, Elliot Embleton. You have to think about it before you say it.
I
I
like to say when I
thought
was
he was the difference. Him coming on in that second half was undoubtedly the difference between the first and second half. And I thought he had a cracking game. I thought he ratted well. I thought he picked up. I think he's strong. He's not particularly tall, but he's as wide as he's tall. And I just think I think he's a really good player. And I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for that second half, because I think he made all the difference to us looking a decent side in that second half. Okay. So I've got 8.
I give Embleton 7 out of 10. I thought he was very influential in the game when he came on, and we looked an awful lot better when he was playing in the second half.
Right. Good. Peter?
Yeah, I agree. Embleton was definitely the difference. It was an inspired sub from Critch. They bring in on the attacking midfield. They definitely changed up our game for the better. So I'll agree with Lee and go an 8.
Brilliant. Okay. No, we're all pretty much on the same page, really. We're only a point here and a point out there. Just quickly, Michael Haig says that Blackpool Football Club are in very safe hands for the future. I think we are. I totally agree with you. We've got Simon Sadler, and he does know what we're after. Michael Haig says we are lacking goals all over the park. Need a goal scoring midfielder that can chip in with 10 to 15 goals a season, which we have not had since the Charlie Adam days. Well, that is for Charlie Adam. God, we could get a Charlie Adam. We'd be over the moon. Bloody hell. They come along once in a lifetime. He was unbelievable. And David Vaughan as well. They were two tremendous players that complemented each other in ways that I don't think, the whole, actually that 3, Southern gave them the bite, didn't he? He gave them he was terrifying. He was terrifying, Southern, and of course it gave Charlie and Vaughan the freedom to do what they did, and they did it so well. Paul Heaton says the Central League set up many years ago gave us the chance for players coming back from injuries to get some game time. We don't have that option now because we can't put them in the academy side. What happened? Because we were going to start playing reserve football, weren't we? And we were at one stage, weren't we? We were playing it down at Squires. Was it Squires Gate? We're playing reserve fixtures. We actually joined the reserve league.
I thought it was Squires Gate. Oh, yes, Squires Gate FC.
Yeah, Squires Gate. We were playing reserve fixtures, weren't we? Has that all stopped because of COVID? Because I'm pretty sure we were going back into a reserve league, weren't we? I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. It. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we started playing reserve games.
Yeah, I thought we were in some sort of reserve league along with some sort of cup competition.
Yeah, I thought we were. So I don't know about that, Paul. We'll have to look into that because I thought we were. Anyway, we're going to finish it off because we've been here for 1 hour, 45 minutes. Can you believe that? It feels like we've been here half an hour. Man of the match for last night. That's our final thought. If you want to post in the comments, you can post your man of the match as well in there and tell us who you thought was your man of the match last night. Starting off with, we'll go with Peter first this time, just to put him under pressure. It's his first time, so let's put him bang under pressure. Man of the match.
I'm going to go with Elliot Embleton for me because he was the difference between in the first and second half. He was the most influential player out there for me. Okay,
I can't disagree with you. I think that's a good man of the match. Freddie, who is yours?
I do agree with what Peter's saying, but for me, it would be Mitchell. In the first half, we didn't play very well at all. Mitchell stood out. In the second half, we got all the ball, running the channels, and make things happen. Yeah, so I thought he had a great game. So yeah, Mitchell for me.
I think I'm going to go for Mitchell as well. I'm going to agree with you, Freddie, on that one. I thought that was his best game in a Blackpool shirt. And if you're watching this, Demi Mitchell, keep it up, lad. Keep it up.
Yeah, good player. Definitely.
we all like you on this channel, so keep it up. Because he's ours as well, isn't he, Demi Mitchell? He's our player. He's not on loan or anything, is he?
Yeah,
he's ours.
Yeah, so he's ours.
So we wanted to come through because quite a few of these players are going to go back. But if he can start shining, he's our player. So brilliant. So that's it. That is it. I can't. Is there anything else you guys that we've not covered that you may want to talk about before we go?
Do you think we can still make the playoffs? This is a question that has been asked a million times on social media.
Well, I thought we could make the playoffs last week, and we're no further away from making the playoffs this week than we were last week, but we're no nearer. We're in exactly the same position we were. We can still get into 6th place with our games in hand. I think we can. I think we can make the playoffs, but I think these next couple of weeks is the defining weeks of the season, because we've got Oxford away, and if we can get something at Oxford, and if we can maybe share the spoils with Sunderland and maybe get a win and, just get 3 points out of the 2 games, then I think we've got a damn good chance. But I think these 3 games, I think the Oxford game and the 2 Sunderland games, I'll be able to tell you then. If we were to win all them 3, and we do know we seem to play better against these top clubs. If we win those 3 games, then definitely, I would say. But we could lose them as well as win them. Yeah, that's my answer to that. So
I believe we're on 50 points at the minute. I believe, obviously, looking back over previous seasons, around 74 points would be enough to get us in maybe sixth place. So yeah, I think from the last 4 teams, we need roughly about 7 wins and maybe 2 or 3 draws to get us in there.
And how many games have we got left to play now?
14.
How many games? 14. So we need 7 wins. Are you saying 6 wins and 7 wins?
Yeah. To get 24 points, you need roughly 7 wins.
7 wins, 3 draws.
Yeah, we could do 8 wins and 8 wins and a draw. I mean, if you look at the fixtures we've got left, we've got Plymouth at home, Swindon away, Gillingham at home, Lincoln away, Rochdale away, Shrewsbury at home, Northampton away, and then the 2 last games of the season, Doncaster at home and Bristol Rovers away. So I do think that it is definitely achievable.
Yep.
Yeah, I've just had a look at a progress chart that's been posted on AVFTT, and it's showing that after 32 games, we're a few points ahead of the 2006-07 total. But don't forget that included that mega run at the end of the season.
The perfect 10. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. And we had Joe Hart in goal as well for that, didn't we?
And we had Joe Hart, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. People go on about the perfect 10, but we had this amazing goalkeeper. I think there was a game, I can't remember which one it was away now. I can't remember where it was, where he pulled about, 4 or 5 wonder saves off. There was a video on YouTube about from behind the goal, and there's one where he dives full length and he flicks it off the goal line. It's the post and comes out. Honestly, if you ever see it, it's the most amazing. It's Gordon Banks style save. So he was definitely part of an amazing run, was Joe Hart. But if we're ahead of that curve, and if Critchley, I think I think he's getting better. I'm sorry, I know there's people knocking him and people saying he should go, but I think he is getting better and better and better. And it was only a few weeks ago that we were kind of hailing him out, after he won away at Portsmouth, he won away at Charlton, people had stopped getting on this Critchley out, and he hasn't lost since then. He just hasn't won, but he's had a bit of bad luck with injuries, and he has had bad luck with injuries. And I like him. I'm sorry, I do like him, and I know it's controversial, but I really like him. He's one of my favorite managers in a long time, and I like the way he talks. I like the way he notices things. I like the way he looks after the players. I like the way he coaches them, and I think if we give him time, I think he'll just become a great manager. And I think he's got all the right attitudes, and I think he's a nice guy. So that's my opinion on Critch anyway.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic manager, plenty of potential, and it's only the start of his journey. So hopefully, it's going to be fantastic next couple of years.
Yeah. Do you like him?
Yeah, I definitely like him. He's growing on me as a manager.
Yeah. He's just a lovely guy, isn't he? You can't not like him for his loveliness, isn't he? He's a really lovely kind of guy who, the kind of guy, he doesn't knock players. I hate managers that come on and blame all the players all the time. He never knocks anybody. He praises them, and I think he's just going to coach them into better players. And I think it'll come good in the end with him. It'll come good in the end.
One thing I do really like. Yeah, I was going to say one thing I really do like about Critchley is his post-match reviews. I don't think he's shies away from the truth. He's not a Grayson or it's their fault. He actually looks at the bigger picture, and he gives a great analysis of what his thoughts were, what happened, what went right, what went wrong, and 99% of the time, I completely agree with what he's saying on his reviews.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I'm the same, Freddie. Totally the same. You're right. You listen to it and you're like going, yeah, aren't you? Yeah, exactly. He kind of sees it as we see it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's fantastic for that.
Yeah. Right. Brilliant.
Just before we go, Lee, can we just promote? Just want to promote next Thursday, the 25th of March. Lee and I have got a podcast with Tommy. Can I ever pronounce his surname right? Was it
Yashin? Yashin.
Yeah.
It's Yashin.
It's gonna be a free night. Tommy's going to come and talk about his career, obviously his time at Blackpool, and we're hoping we can get enough viewers. And feel free to ask questions, guys. They will be addressed, and hopefully, as I say, it's a free night. It's going to be fantastic, and I really look forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be another sort of a similar thing to what we did with Brett Ornrod, where it's an evening with. So it's the way I see these things and the way I want to do them is I want them to be a sort of a really nice sort of friendly chat over a beer. If you met them in the pub and you talk to them, I just want it to be that kind of night. You can obviously come in the comments and we'll try and get as many of your questions asked as we can. It's going to be a great night, and just give us lots of support. Also, make sure that you follow these guys as well on Twitter, because they'll be tweeting stuff as well. So we've got at Abraham Frederick, is it your Twitter? Is that capital A?
Yeah,
spell it out.
Abraham, ABRAHAM, and then Frederick, FREDRIC. I don't know what I said it up. I don't know why it's gone the other way around. I don't know how to change it either. So if anybody knows how to change it, please let me know.
Okay. All right. But that's how they find you. And of course, Peter got lots of followers on Twitter already. But and how does that? I will put the links actually in the comment below. So it's
SLOT _CAR _PETE.
Right. Okay. So Stock Car Pete. Okay. Slot. Oh, slot. SLOT, slot car Pete, isn't it? Yeah.
SLOT.
Is that for your Scalextrics stuff? Is that
Scalextrics racing? Yeah. I haven't done that in about a year now because of the restrictions.
Wow. So where'd you race Scalextric cars? Did you have to go to competitions? You have to set up your own track, or how does it work?
Well, basically there's one club in Blackpool at the minute called Field Model Car Racing Club.
Yeah.
Club that's based off Ashley Mews.
Oh, right.
Mews, which is near Stanley Park.
Yeah.
And
I know where it is.
They've got a small 4-lane wooden track.
Oh, wow.
Back in there that used to be raced on at least once a week.
Right.
And then for national competitions, there's an massive 8-lane track that's used for national competitions down in Corby.
Wow. It's a big thing then, is it? It's a big thing that people still doing Scalextric as a kid. I haven't played it for years, but I tell a lie. I actually got one, the young ones a Scalextric set when they were about 4 or 5, and we used to play that. So I used to enjoy it. It's good. It's really good. It's really good. Very, very good.
I used to love the loops when they go upside down. That's fantastic.
Right, guys, thank you very much for your time. We're going to get off. Thank you very much for watching it. If you know anybody who's a Blackpool fan and you enjoy this sort of stuff, make sure you spread the word, and we'll get more people in and get more chatting, and we'll take these things to a different level. We still got one spot. I'm trying to actually. Sebi is actually quite keen on coming on. He can't come, obviously. He's at school today on this time, but Sunday he might well come on, and he's a good player, and he kind of he knows his football, so he's good. He's with Father Academy and stuff, but he's only 17. But be a bit of eye candy for the young girls. So great stuff. We're going to get off. There's just one comment just come up. Let's see if there's Forever Football. See you later. It's Posh versus Blackpool next week. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about them as well. Yeah, so it's them as well, isn't it? So we've got Oxford, we've got Sunderland, and we've got Peterborough, and we'll know a little bit better, a little bit better in a few weeks' time. Won't
9 points easy. Let's do it. Come on, the pool.
Yeah, easy. We'll stuff Peterborough. Right.
5
Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
All right.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you soon.